Hello, this is Brian. Today is Sunday, May 24th, 2020, and I want to bring to you another spotlight on trees and shrubs. Now, normally my episodes on Spotlight focus on trees, but I also love to focus on our shrubs because I find them equally important and equally beautiful to our landscape. Now, today's focus is on the Greenleaf Manzanita. This is Arctostaphylos patula. It is a very tough, long-lived, rugged shrub in the Heath family, the Ericaceae. It is a common fixture in our higher elevation mountains here in Southern California. I am in the San Bernardino National Forest on a ridge south of Big Bear Lake, near, not that far off, maybe about a mile and a half from Bluff Lake, where a champion lodgepole pine tree grows. I'm at an elevation of about 8,000 feet right here, on one of the highest points along this immediate vicinity, and there's a lot of Greenleaf Manzanita up here. Greenleaf, of course, you know, most trees and shrubs have green leaves. Well, these ones can be quite vivid and bright green. And up here in the mountains, these will grow often low to medium height, but I have seen them over my head on many occasions, usually under 10 feet tall. And like most species in the genus Arctostaphylos Manzanitas, they have this shiny, smooth, reddish-brown bark. And usually towards spring and summer, a lot of times you'll start peeling off, so you'll see these curly peels all over the barks. But it hasn't happened on this individual yet. However, this one is just getting over its bloom. The bloom are these little tiny white urn-shaped flowers, which is very common in the Heath family, the Ericaceae, such as Mission Manzanita, Xylococcus bicolor, madrones in the genus Arbutus, and a lot of other ones like I think it's called Lily of the Valley tree or something like that. It's one of those common ornamentals I used to see a lot back east in New Jersey. It's an evergreen shrub, has similar flowers just like this. So flowers are, again, small to medium size. I mean, these are a little bit smaller than I've seen on some of them, and they have a little tinge of pink on them. Now, after the flowers fall off, then these berry-like drupes develop on them. I don't think I see any old examples right now. Last year, 2019, fall of 2019 was not a very prolific fruiting year, I don't believe, for Arctostaphylos patula. So I don't remember seeing a lot of drupes. The fruits are called drupes. They have seeds that are fused into a stone in the middle of a fruit. You know, like a peach has a stone, a plum, an apricot. Those are called stone fruits or drupaceous fruits. So the manzanitas also have that. Now, as for where the shrub is distributed, it has a pretty good wide distribution here in the west, the Pacific Northwest, up and down the Sierra Nevada, and very common here in Southern California, especially above 6,500 feet. I've seen it a little bit lower than that on occasion, but then you'll see this shrub way up to the high ridges above 8,000 and 9,000 feet quite commonly. So this shrub has a lot to deal with. Like any other sclerophyllous shrubs, like the bush chinquapin, Chrysolipus sempervirens, they have very thick, leathery leaves that help retard water loss. Thick, waxy leaves help keep the leaves from transpiring too much water from their surfaces. And that's a very common adaptation to chaparral shrubs, a lot of desert shrubs. Sclerophyllous means like tough and hard leaf. Probably didn't pronounce it correctly, Sclerophyllus, I believe is how you pronounce it. It's a long word derived from Greek, so sometimes those are hard to spell and pronounce. But again, tough leaves. And look at the way they're oriented. They're kind of oriented kind of vertically. If you see their vertical orientation, you see this is the point is pointing up, the blade's pointing down, or the blade's actually pointing this way, out this way, and this way, this way, and this way. It's because the leaf tip is what's getting the most, the direct blast of the sun. And the leaves are oriented so it retards water loss even more. So if you ever see the fruit, it's a drupe, probably about the size of that. Not very large. Very highly relished by birds, mammals that frequent these mountains. And Native Americans love to eat the drupes too. They are edible. Manzanita comes from Spanish manzana, which is apple. Manzanita means little apple, literally. So that's where the common name comes from. So, again, very widely distributed from the Pacific Northwest, I believe into parts of the Intermountain West. I think Idaho, maybe, some of the Intermountain Western states have Arctostaphylos patula, and then it also grows through the higher mountain ranges like the San Gabriels, San Bernardinos, where I am right now, the San Jacintos, probably the Santa Rosas, and then also again in Baja California along the Sierra de San Pedro Martir in Baja California Norte. So beautiful shrub. And I know I see sometimes when I'm doing these videos, I know I go off on tangents a lot. So let me go back to what I was talking about, dealing with tough conditions. Well, I showed you one adaptation with thick foliage. Now there are other adaptations that these shrubs have as well. Their very intricate branching pattern, allows them to grow in these often very harsh soils. I'm trying to remember if Arctostaphylos patula is a burrow-forming shrub. Some manzanitas form root burrows, which are these big, woody hunks where the stems connect to, often just below the surface. Sometimes you can see the top of them slightly above it. I don't see a root burrow through here, but it might have one underneath the surface. I believe Arctostaphylos patula is a burrow former. If I'm wrong, and if I'm wrong, leave me a comment. I'm pretty sure this is a burrow former. And again, one thing that I've always been trouble with manzanitas is differentiating different species. Now I believe I'm generally a little too high for Eastwood manzanita, Arctostaphylos glandulosa. I don't know about Perry manzanita, Arctostaphylos perriana, which is found, I think two varieties or two subspecies of Perry's manzanita are found here. I think Arctostaphylos perriana and Arctostaphylos perriana atumescens, which is more the desert. It's more of the desert or drier version, even though the regular perriana grows in pretty dry climates as well. But again, the root burrow for a lot of chaparral shrubs is a way that the plant will store nutrients in case it gets fire, in case a fire comes through and burns it down to the ground, or if something mechanical coppices it down to the ground, it can resprout. I'm pretty sure, like I said, pretty sure that patula is a type that will resprout. And habitat-wise, yellow pine forest. We're in the upper portion of the yellow pine forest, which consists primarily here of white fir, Abies concolor, variety concolor, Jeffrey pine, Pinus Jeffrey, and some sugar pines. Pinus lambertiana. There are a few here, but they're pretty scarce in this little spot. They're very common in these mountains, but not common here. So you'll find it in yellow pine forest, but then you'll also find it in subalpine forest. You will see a lot of it in the San Gorgonio wilderness. I've never been there to the San Gorgonio wilderness yet, so how would I know? By watching people's videos. I've seen like fields of manzanita everywhere, and they're Greenleaf Manzanitas. And there's a lot of them going up to that 9,952 foot Sugarloaf Mountain over there. And there are a lot of them in these transverse and higher peninsular ranges and Sierras. And then, so you'll see them in the subalpine zone with lodgepole pine, limber pine, and in the Sierras with western white pine and southern foxtail pine and red fir. You'll see them a lot with those. And I've been in the Sierras a few times and have seen a lot of Arctostaphylos patula there. And then I have also seen them in pinyon juniper woodland. Typically the higher elevation pinyon juniper woodland, like Pinus monophylla, single-leaf pinyon, Junipers grandis, the Sierra juniper. So usually pinyon juniper woodland above 6,000 feet is where I've seen it on occasion. And so it could form a very dense, very extremely hard to wade through cover on open forested slopes and in montane chaparral, which this is basically a mosaic of open yellow pine forest and upper montane chaparral. So there you have it, the beautiful Arctostaphylos patula, Greenleaf Manzanita. Next time you're above 6,000 or 7,000 feet, keep a lookout for it. It's a bright green, beautiful shrub. This is Brian. This was Spotlight on Trees and Shrubs. See you on the next episode. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.